Okay, we're back at the layout today, and last time I talked about wiring the layout and how I was going to do it. I didn't show it actually done. So now the wiring is pretty much done, and I'm waiting on a couple of things that I ordered. I think I mentioned this before. I want to try and power the switch control system using a single cable from the to the power pack, and just using that for the power. The Kato allows you to make connections to the side of the power pack. Unfortunately, the parts that I need for that are stuck in limbo in the post office. I received one part, but the more important part hasn't come yet. So we're still waiting on that. But everything else is done. What I ended up doing underneath, I think we talked about the all the little channels and everything that I had dug, and the openings that I had made. See if I can get this lifted up with one hand. This business with holding the camera is makes things a little tricky. So underneath the layout, as we talked last time, I had dug out all those channels for the wiring to go in. So all of the wiring is in. I've got it held in place with some extra sticky masking tape, and so that'll protect the wires for now. You can see I was talking about using the junction boxes to wire several wires together. There's the first junction box, and then the cable comes out of that, goes down to this one. It goes out and feeds the tracks. Also, had put in the switch control box, the Touchtoggle snap bipolar base. This is specifically made for Kato switches and similar. And so it gets its power. That black wire wandering off to the left at the moment is temporarily the power for that. And then the very nice orange, yellow, and brown wires run out to the toggles. The red and black wires run out to each of the switch machines. So that was very easy to install. Once I get those parts in, I will properly wire that the way I want it, and see. Hopefully that will work. So that's that part. We'll go ahead and power it up. I'll show you what that looks like with the switch controls working. Anyway, because I do have them, like I said, temporarily wired. So let's go ahead and power things on. You'll notice we now have the 3 green LEDs. They indicate that everything is set straight. As I showed you the other day, you just touch it and it throws the switch. So it turns red, this switch throws. Let's see if I can get a little better angle so you can see what's going on. It goes back to green. Green is for straight, and then red for the diverging route. I've done that same with all 3 switches, this one being the first one, the second, and then the third one back there in the back. So that's pretty much where we are now. Today I'm going to start working on some of the structures, some of the buildings that are going on there. I don't like the colors of some of the molded plastic. So I'm going to be spray painting that. I may also start working on getting this corner hill here started. As I mentioned, there's going to be a roadway that runs through the layout, starts here, comes along, goes up a hill, and crosses over the tracks here in a small tunnel kind of arrangement. Building here, and there'll be another roadway that comes around to get to this area. Probably actually will come through here to get into here. So anyway, that's where we are so far. Okay, just a quick postscript update on the little layout. I mentioned last time that I was trying to use glue dots to secure the track to the base, and that was a dismal failure. I had been working on some other things and had the layout sitting on its side, leaned up against the wall. And when I put it back up here on the table to work on it again, the track had all slid. So the track has now been held down with some PVA glue. Once again, I did not put any glue under the switches or turnouts or points or whatever you want to call them, but everything else is now held down with PVA. Rationale is that I don't while not cheap, the Kato track is, or Kato track is relatively inexpensive compared to the switches, which are, about 25, 30 bucks a piece. So if I lose some track, if I decide to change this or do something else with this, if I lose a little bit of the track, it's not going to hurt me that much. But the switches would. So everything's down and working again. Another little bit of a triumph, and I was a little surprised about, or not surprised. I was happily confirmed that my idea of being able to use to be able to power the to be able to power everything easily from this Kato transformer or Kato power pack is actually going to work exactly the way I wanted. This little guy was the one that I was waiting on for that test. And what this does, when I was talking about the Kato power pack before, I mentioned it's got these little snaps on the side, or got little snaps on the side, and these accessories just snap in. So those two snaps or contacts, carry just the plain DC voltage. And ordinarily you'd plug in Kato's switch controllers for that, but this just breaks out that 12 volts or 13.5 volts, whatever it is, puts it out on this cable, and it's just the standard connectors that they use for everything else. So it just snaps in. So this makes this nice and portable. I just disconnect these two now color-coded wires, and to transport it, they'll tuck up into this little notch here in the side of the layout, just as designed. I'll need to come up with some sort of little cover for that for transport, or maybe not even worry about it once I built the box lid that goes over this whole thing. So underneath. I just tested this a couple minutes ago for the first time. Underneath, everything is going to fall right into those channels that I cut, and then I can go ahead and cover over the switch controller. Now that at least from a protective standpoint, unfortunately, that plastic guard that it's screwed into is held into, or that base that it's screwed into, is held in with the glue dots. So I'm going to have to reimagine how that gets held in place. But once I do that, I can button up the bottom of the layout, and all the wiring will be complete. So everything's working well there. And I also, as I said, I was working on some of the buildings, and through the magic of video editing, so to speak, there they are sitting. They're not in their final places, but these are the four first buildings that I worked on. They still need to have a lot of their details put on, like gutters and downspouts and that kind of thing. But for now, at least for the purpose of while I'm finalizing the layout, they can be pretty much considered pretty much complete. The church is done completely, but the three little houses still need a bunch of details done. I also wound up getting some more trains, including another one of these little switcher engines, the little electric switchers. This one has a different kind of coupler on it that is more prevalent in these little N-scale micro layouts, so it was a little easier. I could not find the couplers to replace it on the little orange one, so I grabbed this. It came with a couple of cars, and then I also picked up these European prototype, what they call goods wagons in the UK and in Europe. I think they're a little more fitting for this layout, which is going to be kind of sort of Europe themed or continental themed or something like that. I like the size of the Japanese prototype cars a little better. They're a little bigger, so they'll probably be a mixture of both. And then as part of the process, through a little bit of an accident and some shipping mishaps, I also picked up another passenger train. So I've got this little guy, and this is these things can sort of be hard to get a hold of, and I ended up getting a really good price on this one. So anyway, new trains. Say the buildings are coming along. The wiring is pretty much done. So the next part is the fun part, as I started to talk about in the previous video, is getting into the scenery and getting the road going where it's going to go, all those kind of things. So that's it for now. More later. And Have a great day.